Okay. So thank you all for volunteering to do this. This is, and Haley, you were involved virtually last year? Yes? Were you a
Yeah, I was in.
committee's activity small group facilitator? Oh, you've frozen. You might need to turn off your video. Oh, you're back now.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi is really bad, but yeah, I was in one of the smaller breakout
Yes.
rooms.
Okay, got it. All right. So you did hear the spiel last year about what JSHS is about, and Connie knows too. Cecil doesn't know. Errol's heard a little bit and absorbed probably a bit in the office for the last few weeks, but just to put it out there, it is an annual, this is the 60th for Connecticut, research competition and symposium for high school students. We invite all high schools in Connecticut, um, no matter what type of high school they are, public, private, parochial, religious, and ninth through 12th graders come. About half of the attendees are actually researchers who submitted a project, wanted to be able to compete. We can only accept top tier oral. There's 17 of those. The next tier poster, there's 20 of those. And then I believe there were 21 STEM poster exhibits, not judged, that were accepted. I don't think all of them submitted their poster. And there were a couple of them who were group projects, two pairs. And then there's a lot of, this year, I would say 50-50 of folks who are researchers and kids who just wanted to observe. We call them observers or other members of the school's delegation. There are 25 school groups coming. In some cases, there's one per school and they're being chaperoned by their parent. Every school has a chaperone, at least one. Some of them have two. Some of them have a school chaperone, but also a parent is coming because they want to see their child present. Um, so you're going to see a whole kind of mix of things per school. There's one school, Choate, which is a private school that has 3 students coming, but they're each chaperoned by a parent. So there's 3 different iterations of Choate that you'll be seeing at the registration desk. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly share my screen. Let's see. Trying to find my Adobe. Here it is. Okay, so this is what the symposium looks like. Registration is, you can see my screen, right? Okay, registration is 7:45 to 8:40. I had originally said 8 o'clock to 8:40, but then I realized, oh my gosh, we have to do COVID screening. So that's really going to gum up the works. And Connie knows from having done this before that it is like a bomb goes off in the academic lobby, because everybody arrives in the same 30, 45 minutes. One of the major problems, there's kind of no way around this, but chaperones have to sign in their delegation. We don't give materials to students. The chaperone signs them in, the chaperone signs them out. So students are getting dropped off in many cases. I only know of 3 schools that are coming in buses. So for the other 22 schools, they're being dropped off or they're driving themselves. Their chaperones driving themselves, and they're all meeting in our lobby. So it's really quite challenging. So um, you need to have, we're going to have a system for, um, you know, do you know if your chaperone is here yet? If not, go stand in the middle of the lobby. Um, and wait for your chaperone. Do not go upstairs. Do not leave the lobby. You've got to be signed in by your chaperone because they're not supposed to be entering the building until they've been screened for COVID. And how we're doing that is this form was emailed to all the chaperones and explains there's questions that are asked, 3 questions about, have you had a fever? Have you had an exposure? Those types of questions. And if you answer, and you have to put your name in, if you answer everything correctly, you get a green check. There's a QR code, there's a URL. There's something very strange about this URL. Multiple people have tried it and acknowledged that. I'm clicking on it now. Okay, it didn't happen that time, probably because it's a cookies thing. The first time you try it, and I've done it before, so the wrong cookie didn't pop up, you get an image of a Yukon Health ID badge, and it says badge number up here before first name. And there's a little red asterisk as if it's required. And, the chaperones, the students that are going to like, what do you mean badge number? I'm not. So basically, they ignore the badge number and just put in their name and email, confirm. The cell phone number is optional. I'm just going to do it for you so you can see. I'm not going to put in my cell phone. Okay. So I am not a patient, not visiting someone, not joining an appointment, not a vendor. I'm other. Do I have these symptoms? No, no, no. Submit. I get a green check mark. So the chaperones have been told, but many of them are going to have forgotten or don't understand. That I asked them to do this. The morning of the arrival, each student is supposed to do this. And this was also sent to the parents and guardians of all the students that they were going to be required to do this. And so the chaperone, when they come up to you at the registration table, and we'll look at the venue map, I'll show you. You give the chaperone a bag for their school. What school are you from? I'm from Killingly High School. Okay, A through K on this side, L through Z on this side. Okay, K's over there. You go over there. Okay, I'm from Killingly High School. Here's my bag. Great. Here's your bag. There's going to be an envelope inside that has this form stapled to it. At the bottom, there's a place for them to sign and write their school. It says, as chaperone for my delegation, I hereby attest that all members of my school's delegation used the above pre-screening entry form tool today and received a green digital pass. They sign that, they write the school name, they hand it back to you. Now, I was just thinking in the last 10 minutes that I'm going to do things a little differently than I've done in past year. Connie, do you remember that there was there were 2 binders, one was, and 2 like 11 by 17 with the list of schools and the chaperone's name and the students' names, and you would flip through A through K on one side, L through Z on the other, and then they'd see all the kids' names they'd sign.
Yeah.
Yes, and so when it gets really busy, you've got this one list and people are in line and they're all waiting. So instead of doing that big master list, I am going to attach to this same this form. There's going to be a second page that's just going to say Killingly High School, list of students, list of chaperones' names. So instead of going through like a binder, you pull the thing out of the binder, they're signing things, the person's waiting in line behind you. They're going to be able to just have this separate sheet for them that says, yep, so-and-so's here. Yep, this kid's here. Oh no, he stayed home sick. He's not coming. Cross him out. And then they can hand both of these sheets back to you. So then you can have a binder system where you file the sheets and say alphabetically and say, okay, here's their COVID sign off. Here is their attendance list. Does that sound okay, Connie?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So everybody, the chaperones have to sign them out just like they signed them in. You're going to flip to Killingly in the appropriate binder, and then they're going to see that list of kids that they signed in the morning, and they're going to say 1 o'clock, all out, or however they want to, we'll just have, some kind of, I'll right at the top of the sheet with the list of names, sign out time or something, and then they can just jot it and their signature at the bottom. Now, there are some students who have alerted me that they cannot stay for the whole thing. Their chaperone is supposed to escort them back to your station to sign them out. I don't know if parents are picking them up or they're driving themselves, but their chaperone is still responsible for them and should be the one to sign them out. So for the most part, you're going to have this huge crush between 7:45 and 8:45, maybe a trickle of late people until 9. And then there'll be a few people who come through to you to say, oh, I'm late getting here. And honestly, they are supposed to be with their chaperone. So if somebody gets there late at like 9:15, can they text their chaperone to come down and get them? Now, the chaperone will be up in another room with the delegation, but that chaperone needs to, tell the group, stay put. I'm going to go get so-and-so and come and get them. The other possibility is that if you have spare bodies, authorized adults, Errol, you're an authorized adult, Connie is, and Cecil is, because they're associated with Yukon Health, that the background check's been done. You could walk them up, knowing where they are, and I'll tell you how to figure that out. You could walk them to where they are, have them point out their chaperone, tell the chaperone, hey, I'm going to meet you at the door of the rotunda where we're going right now. Can you please stand up and meet me there? And then you can hand them off. You could do that as an authorized adult. It's okay. I know it's not supposed to be a one-on-one situation, but 1 minute walking down the hall to deliver them safely is something we sometimes have to do. But I suppose that, having the chaperone come and get them is the ideal situation. If there's chaos and it's like a time between like going from one room to another and the person is waiting for their chaperone, it may be that the chaperone can't figure out where to I don't know, that they might get lost or something, but there are a couple options. There aren't going to be very many of those. That might happen once or twice. Just try to get that student one way or the other to their chaperone to hook them up. Hopefully we won't have a lot of, I'm just worried about the weather might kind of put a weird spin on things. People being a little later than we expected. So same thing with signing out. These people who've alerted me they have to leave early. Their chaperone needs to bring them to the registration area, and then they're not your responsibility. They're the chaperone's responsibility. If the chaperone's signing them out, they know the parents out there waiting to pick them up, that sort of thing. So you don't have to watch people. Okay, so right, so each of the 25 or so schools, they are completing this form and handing it back to you. You're saying, here's your bag. See this form here? I need you to sign this and hand it back to me. If you need to check with a couple of students who you're not sure if they've done the pre-screening yet, please bring it back before you go up to the rotunda for the keynote, the welcome and the keynote. We've got to have it before you leave the lobby. And, the same thing with that list of student names, who's here, who's not here. We've got to have that before you leave the lobby. So then you can put it in an alphabetized binder. So when they come to leave, you can pull out that sheet again and they sign out all those kids that they signed in. All right. So let's look at the venue map for a sec. So this is the academic entrance. Haley, you're the only one who isn't super familiar, but you've been to a few learning retreats and you're accustomed to parking there. That's where you're going to park. We are going to have parking assistance there from 7:30 to 9. I'm also told that, and I need to get this confirmed, that the door will be unlocked. So people don't have to hold it open or badge people in from 7:30 to 9. After 9, you're going to have to look at that door to see if someone's standing there knocking to be let in. You know, that door way, 50 feet away. So you have to be alert to that. So there's two sets of tables here. There are going to be 3 tables on each side for sign in and sign out. We'll split it alphabetically. There'll be a couple of you on each side to help hand out those alphabetical bags to chaperones. We're going to have the signs posted here in this little ramp area to remind them about the COVID screening. So when they get to you, hopefully they'll have remembered and it won't be a big surprise. Oh, this is something I've got to sign off on. There is, if you recall, if you've been in this lobby lately, there is a Yukon Health COVID screening kiosk right here. It's a computer, with an individual setup. If any of the volunteers can use that. Volunteers can also use this sheet. Absolutely. But they can also use that normal kiosk. It's basically any visitors need to be doing this. There might be a long line at that, so you should encourage even volunteers to use the QR code that we'll have posted. Okay. This is actually, there's a tiny bit of a goof that I didn't think about in the academic lobby. Right here is going to be the volunteers table. In the past, Connie will remember, we had it attached to here, but we used to have the poster judging here. We already did the poster judging on Sunday. So I should have put a little table here that says volunteer table. So when you have volunteers walking in, and they'll be there early, 7:30, they'll 8 o'clock. Some of them will be in the thick of the students starting to pour in. But if they're a volunteer, they should go to this table here and pick up their badge and any materials that they need. There's really not much for them. As far as other guests, there are a few other guests who are coming. So they're kind of random adults who are associated with AHEC or JSHS. For example, there are a few executive committee members from JSHS. I think I'll put them on one of, I'm kind of torn. You know what? I'm going to put them here too. So let's just keep these 3 tables. It's all school. So you can spread out. The students will be kind of hanging around in this area waiting for their chaperone to arrive. They can push into the lobby area that's like right before the library. We'll put the tables for the volunteers and other guests as far back as we can. So try to separate them from the students who are waiting for their chaperone. So there's a couple of speakers, like our keynote speaker, Dr. Anton Alerte, who's going to do a couple-minute welcome. So anybody who's not associated with a school group, send them here. There is one tiny little exception. There are 2 teachers who are coming without delegations. They just like to come to JSHS and they know each other. So I will put them with the school groups, but you'll notice in their bag, there's no manila envelope with, student names and student certificates. They still have to do their own personal COVID screening, but they don't have any students with them. But these chaperones, they all get tote bags that contain all the materials. There'll be a portfolio for each person, whether they're a teacher, a parent, chaperone, or a student. There'll be backsacks for the students. There's name tags for everyone. They're all in that one tote bag. They just need to sign off who's there and give the list back to you before they leave the lobby. I will be checking with you, like if one of you says to, is like, oh my gosh, this such and such school never returned their list. I will make an announcement in the rotunda to say, hey, people are going to forget. There's like kids running all over the place and they might forget, oh, I was supposed to return that. I will make an announcement because it is incredibly important. So I think we'll need some kind of system. What I'll probably do, I'm thinking about it now, is the binder I'll create for you to file them. It will have a tab for each school. So you'll know exactly where to file it, and you can check through it at 8:45 and say, whoa, the such and such school is still missing. They took their bag, but there's no form in here. And so we just got to have some kind of system to check that. And then one of you could come up and see me in the rotunda, and we can make an announcement. All right. So this is Connie will recall from previous years that we had lab tours. We're not doing that. This is all very concentrated in one area. So this is that main floor where you come in the entrance. Massey Auditorium is here for poster presentations. Patterson and Friends Hall is here for humanities activity. You're going to send everybody up the stairs to go to the rotunda. So back to the program here. Block schedule. Let's just review the block schedule very briefly. You've got the registration 7:45 to 8:40. You've got the welcome and keynote address from 8:50 to 9:35. And that's when the three like rotating blocks start. We broke about 150 attendees into three groups of 50 approximately. And so 50 go to the oral session at 9:45, 50 go to the humanities activity at 9:45, and 50 go to the poster session at 9:45. So welcome and keynote, everybody's going to be in the rotunda, and I'll show you how that's, okay. So this page talks about where everything is. Rotunda is the opening. Then we have this 10-minute, there's 10-minute break between each block. Block 1, if you're group A, you're in the rotunda. Their name tag says where they need to go. It says Haley Merrill, if you were a student, Torrington High School. Block 1, you're in the rotunda. Block 2, you're in Friends 6. That means Friends Hall, which we have broken out into 6 groups for small groups, but they're in Friends Hall. Block 3. I'm sorry. I read that incorrectly. So block 1, group A is in the rotunda. Then we scroll down to block 2. Group A then goes to Massey Auditorium. So that will say on the name tag, block 2, they're in Massey Auditorium. We look for group A on the 3rd block, and group A for the 3rd block is doing the humanities activity. So that's when they're either going to Friends or Patterson Hall. But it's on their name tag. It's I'm going to have, I will have a alphabetical list. If there's an emergency that a parent needs to be called, you'll be able to find the student's name alphabetically and the parent's contact information. It will also say where they're supposed to be in each of these blocks. So you can look up, if a parent comes in and said, I have to get my kid out of here, where are they? You will know what room they're in. That never happens, but you could do that. Okay, so block 1, so for the keynote, everybody's at the rotunda. And then at the end of the keynote, we make an announcement and say, okay, this is when we split into blocks. Look at your name tags. If you are, if your name tag says your oral session, you're staying here in the rotunda. If your name tag says poster Massey, go to Massey Auditorium downstairs next to the registration area. If your name tag says humanities activity, go downstairs to Friends or Patterson, whatever it says on your name tag. And each of these rooms, Rotunda, Massey, and then the two halls, they have similar dismissal announcements that says, hey, you're now going to whatever room. So they know in 10 minutes they have to get to that other room that they can see on their venue map. So again, here's page 1 of the venue map. Here's page 2. This is upstairs. So these are the stairs that you just sent them up. And they're walking straight up to the rotunda. We've got restrooms noted, the Barnes & Noble gift shop that is open from 9 to 1, especially for us, and everybody gets 20% off. If anybody needs access to an elevator, that's on the map. There is a courtyard over here that's it's enclosed. There's just a door outside. You know, if it were going to be nice weather, it would have been used, but it's not going to be a very nice day until the afternoon. So I don't think it's important that people know about this at all. But you can see there's a restroom here across from Massey. That's women's, that's men's, across from Patterson and Friends. And then upstairs, same thing, men's restroom, women's restroom. And then there are both men and women here. So part of your assignment is also refreshments. So once that crush is over, as long as there is one authorized adult left in the lobby, I'm happy. One of you who know what's going on. If then you can send a couple people off to deal with refreshments. Connie may need to peel off at certain times because she's a new mom. She may need to take a break. So you four, including Cecil, are going to coordinate who gets to get up and leave at certain times. And I do encourage you, and just as long as you arrange it with the other person to say, hey, I want to go watch the poster presentations for 15 minutes. I'll be back. Is that okay? And you can go do whatever you want to do. Hang out in the back of the humanities activity, which is about viral spillover. It's about the virus hunters who are trying to get ahead of a future pandemic. I want you to be able to, I don't want you to go out of your skull, basically, sitting at the registration desk, like from 9:15 to 12:30, it's going to be pretty slow. So you're going to be working on refreshments, but you do need to, just if you want to get up, stretch your legs, use facility, go watch presentations. That's, you guys work it out between you. All right. So here are the food tables right by the rotunda. Errol has helped arrange a bunch of snack baskets. For breakfast, we are not serving breakfast. We're trying to minimize any kind of COVID spread from eating around each other. So I told everybody in the emails, we're not serving breakfast. Please eat a good breakfast. We're going to have water bottles and coffee here. But I'm going to ask that 1/3 of the refreshments, Errol, if you could make a note, 1/3 of the refreshments get put out, say for 9:15. At 9:35, they're going to break. So at 9:15, you'll have 1/3 of the refreshments on that on those two food tables. Just put something on either side. And then the next one we'll break at 10:30. So say at 10:15, put out another third of the snacks. And then the next one breaks at 11:25. So at 11:15, 11:10, put out the other third of the snacks. And then they'll roll into the awards, at which point people who are in the rotunda for orals for block 3, they stay there. Humanities activity downstairs at Friends and Patterson, they go up to the rotunda. Poster session in Massey, they go up to the rotunda. Everybody meets back in the rotunda at 12:30. And that's when we have the awards and the evaluation and the raffles. And the lunches will be delivered at approximately 12:30. I don't mind if the lunches are there early and people grab them on the way in. They cannot eat them. They're supposed to not, maybe we'll put a sheet over them. That might be best. People will be tempted to take them out and start snacking, but it's an agreement we have, with the powers that be, that we're not serving lunches. It's just to go lunches. So I have a feeling the lunches are going to appear around the time people are walking back in, but we don't want them to take them until they're walking out. So, one of you, I would say at 12:15, should be up there working with the catering people. As soon as they arrange the lunches, put a white plastic tablecloth over them, and you can take them off, say 12:35, 12:40, whatever, because they'll all be in the rotunda until 12:50 or 1. So they take their lunch after dismissal. They take a box lunch, and there are 6 different types of sandwiches. We want to put both types. There's going to be enough table space that we can put both types on each side. So I've made 6 signs times 2 with the name of the sandwich. The boxes will be labeled, but that might be a little harder to see, and we want people to flow through there quickly. So I've made, the table signs, the acrylic table signs that say what type of sandwich they are, and people can grab and go. They should grab water. They should grab sandwiches. If there are any snacks left at that point from the third, please leave those on the tables too. Just consolidate them all, for them to take at the end. And then you will be needed back down at that registration table, because there will be the flood of 150 or so, maybe just 25 chaperones trying to sign their students out, and then 150 people flowing out. I'll have a basket for people to return their name tags. It's not mandatory. Some of the kids might want to keep them as a souvenir, but it'll be there. You don't have to chase anybody down. It'll just be there. They might notice, and if they ask, say, if you want to leave it, you can. Just, don't throw it away. Just leave it here if you don't want it. But they can keep the pen that's in there. Everything that's in the tote bag goes home with them. There will be extra barrels for trash and recycling. The recycling of the plastic bottles I am concerned about, and housekeeping knows, and they're going to have someone on staff, because we're going to have, during those, I mentioned the water will and coffee will be put out here. There's going to be about 525 bottles of water, because it's only 8 ounces, and that's kind of like 3 times, divide that by 3, and that's the number of people who will be there. I just thought that was 8 ounces might not be enough for some people for a whole morning. So there is filtered water. Some people might bring their, I think I mentioned in the email, they could bring their refillable bottle, but I'm concerned that there might be bottles everywhere, and so I did ask housekeeping to make sure there's enough bottle recycling in the lobby, also upstairs and downstairs, so you can keep that under control. All right. So what have I not explained? Okay, there might be a couple of walk-in people. We do get that once in a while, like a parent who said they were going to drop off decides, you know what, the weather's not good. I'm coming in here and staying. It's okay. They just need to, I'll have a separate sign-in sheet, and they should write down their name and what school, why they're there. This is not open to the public, by the way. It's only people who have been invited and know about it. So I've only seen parents, and sometimes they'll just kind of wander around the building or they will go to sessions with their children, but it's okay. They just need to sign in. We need to know about them, and they need to do the screening, and there's some blank name tags for them to put a name tag on, so we know they're with our group. Okay. Only thing I didn't really talk about was authorized adult too much. I'm really downplaying this year. Connie will know in the past when we were escorting people up to labs, we had authorized adults wear leis, so people always knew where the authorized adult was in their group. We're not doing that because we're so concentrated and there's so many chaperones. It's like a 3-to-1 ratio for students and chaperones. It's really good. Or volunteers, adults, that sort of thing. But there are a ton of authorized adults there. There's the three of you, including Cecil, in the lobby, but like in the rotunda and in Patterson and Friends and Massey Auditorium, there's at least 2 in each of those rooms. And then they're all filled with chaperones. Technically speaking, we don't really even need to have authorized adults if students are accompanied by chaperones. That's really the truth. But I like to register and make sure people are trained so they know just to look for things that they know kids shouldn't be wandering off. Oh, that's what I wanted to mention, the zone. Okay, so this yellow message showing the zone. See, this mentions authorized adult. Well, that's kind of old base, more related to last year, but there's going to be a sign on each floor. There's going to be like a little cone here and a little cone here in the hallway. They'll see just beyond the women's restroom here and just beyond the men's restroom here. There's going to be a sign that says JSHS end zone. They should not travel beyond this map. If they're with a chaperone, technically speaking, they could go wherever. They could go to the cafeteria if they wanted to. We don't want people walking around in the academic classrooms. They really should stay in the zone. But if a parent, it's a hospital. If a parent or a chaperone wanted to walk them down the cafeteria, no problem. And just like the downstairs, there will be a cone here and a cone here that says JSHS end zone, just to remind them they really should stay in and not get lost. Okay, end zone. All right, I think that's the end of my training at 6:40. Now, you get a chance to ask questions. Any questions? Connie, how does it sound to you?
Sounds good. Sounds like it was before, but it's a little smaller.
Yes, excellent. Yep, smaller and shorter.
Yeah.
Yep. And Errol, you know a little bit from being in the office and helping out and being in on some of our huddles. Is this making more sense to you now? Oh, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Hear me now?
A little bit.
Still?
Very faint. I heard you clear your throat.
Okay, so
Okay, it's good. Yep.
what I asked was, so hopefully, ideally, they would do the pre-screening before they arrive at the building, and they would have to show us like the confirmation, the green check, or no?
No,
Okay.
that would take forever. That is the chaperone's responsibility. That little note that the chaperone is going to sign and says at the bottom, I hereby attest that all members of my school's delegation used the above pre-screening entry form tool today and received a green digital pass. So it's their responsibility to have seen that green check. They're signing off and they're in the building.
And
So that's all you need to do is get that sheet from them.
okay, and has my last question is, has there ever been any? I know this is the first. Well, this is the first in person. In an event that there's some pushback regarding the screenings,
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I have no idea. I bet there might be somebody, but the chaperones, the parents, they all received this email. And it's medical information that a student is being asked to provide, but the parent, the chaperone are aware that we were going to ask it. You can say, we're a hospital. Oh, I didn't mention the masks. Everybody has to be masked. We have 300 masks in case everybody and their brother forgets a mask. So yes, that's actually going to be part of what you need to do. We'll have those boxes of masks spread all out. I'm not going to put them in the tote bags. I mean, I hope that doesn't slow things down. Maybe that's a bad decision. Maybe I should put them in the tote bags because how many people with students not accustomed to wearing masks in school anymore, how many will come with a mask? I wonder. I'm starting to think it might be a good idea to put the masks in the bag. What do you guys think? If they don't need it, they have it to take home, use later. That might actually make things a lot quicker instead of 75 people saying, I need a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Why don't we do that? We'll add masks to the bags tomorrow. Okay.
Can you have some extras out in case the chaperone's the late person?
Yes, we have 300 and we only need about 100 and I think there's like 150 school materials. And then there's about 25 volunteers. So we'll have plenty extra on the tables in addition to putting them in the bags.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I hope you don't get pushback. It's a hospital facility. We're here. It's our first. This is the first major event since the COVID pandemic, and in order to continue having events, we need to follow the rules. So if anybody gives you pushback, I'll have my cell phone number on the binders. You give me a call. You give Petra a call. Petra's cell phone number is on the parking and the directions that we emailed to everyone. In case people are lost, they call her. But you can call either one of us. And boy, I hope that doesn't happen to you. That would be unfortunate. I don't know. This is constant in the main building. You go in, you get screened, you put a mask on. It's people are compliant as far as I have seen, but they do have a security guard there. So probably for a reason, in case anybody's disorderly. But thank you for asking. Fingers crossed it won't happen. You just say, I need to call Ellen. I need to call my colleague to come and talk to you about this, if that happens. If you can't find me, you call Petra or whatever. Okay. Any other questions from you, Errol? Okay, that's great. And how about you, Haley?
Just for in terms of should we just be wearing like business casual when we come?
Yes, good point. There will be, I know sometimes you wear your UST t-shirts, but it's going to be cold probably in that area. And honestly, I think the dress code is a little nicer than that because the competitors will be wearing jackets, ties, business, dressy, casual. I don't know what to call it, but 3 years ago, some of the guys were in ties, so you may be seeing that. But yeah, comfortable shoes, for running around. I might send you on some kind of errand, like I need you to go whatever, and I don't know. But yeah, so nice but comfortable. And I guess that's it. So I asked Daryl to be there at 7. He might be there as early as 6:30, which is wonderful. Haley, I know you're coming from a distance, and Connie has a little baby. Connie, I'm not even sure I know where you live. You're not in Ellington still, are you?
No, I'm in Cromwell.
Cromwell, okay. But I know you have a little one at home, and so I'm saying 7:30 for you two, but knowing that, so the parking assistance arrives at 7:30. Please don't be any later than 7:30. You might have bad driving. You know that since people are coming at 7:45, they might come early because of the bad weather. So it would be so great to have you in the seats, seeing the materials and connecting the dots between what we talked about tonight and what needs to happen that morning. So try to be there as promptly as possible. Can I put my, Connie has my cell phone number, Errol has my cell phone number, Haley does not. I think it would be good for you to just get my number in your phone in case you are running late or your road isn't plowed or whatever. Had to scrape off the ice off my car and I'm gonna be, 10 minutes late. That'd be very helpful. Thank you. All right. So any final questions? Fabulous. Thank you all so very much. And see you Saturday morning. Errol, I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
All right,
Thank
good night.
you.
Bye.